On May 14, 2025, Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, expansion, and higher knowledge, enters Gemini, marking one of the most intellectually stimulating and communicatively active transits of the year. This shift from earthy, stable Taurus to the airy, dual-natured Gemini initiates a collective redirection of focus, from material security and value systems to ideas, networks, communication, adaptability, and learning. The effects of this transit will be felt globally, as Jupiter's movement into an air sign opens up dialogues, accelerates technological advancements, and encourages the sharing of knowledge across diverse fields. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on sidereal or Vedic astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. Jupiter in Gemini promotes growth through intellect, curiosity, and versatility. It's an excellent period for education, publishing, digital communication, and innovation in fields related to AI, media, and decentralized systems. Jupiter, a planet that prefers clarity and coherence, finds itself challenged in Mercury-ruled Gemini, a sign known for multiplicity, scattered attention, and dual perspectives. This transit will require discernment in information consumption and careful articulation of thoughts, especially as misinformation, overstimulation, or ideological confusion may rise. But the rewards for engaging with this energy consciously are immense. The potential to broaden mental horizons, develop new skills, and connect with like-minded communities is unparalleled. This transit also holds deep symbolic importance due to its timing and the planetary context it unfolds within. Jupiter moves into Gemini just 4 days before Rahu, north node of the moon, enters Aquarius on May 18th. Both Jupiter and Rahu will then be occupying air signs, joining Saturn in Pisces, a configuration that fosters a mental, spiritual, and ideological recalibration. The emphasis on air and water elements invites a synthesis between the intellect, air, and intuition, water, suggesting that true growth in this period may come from integrating rational thought with emotional intelligence. Jupiter in Gemini forms critical aspects throughout its journey. Its fifth aspect falls on Libra, the sign of balance, justice, and relationships, amplifying growth in diplomacy, legal matters, and creative partnerships. Its seventh aspect lands on Sagittarius, its own sign, bringing focus to higher education, long-distance travel, and philosophical realignments. The ninth aspect reaches Aquarius, where Rahu will soon reside, highlighting ideological shifts, political reform, and movements toward collective progress. These aspects suggest that while the focus is on mental expansion, the impact will be widely felt in justice systems, academic institutions, global alliances, and humanitarian endeavors. Adding to the complexity is Saturn's recent entry into Pisces on March 29, 2025. Saturn in Pisces represents boundaries dissolving and a need to restructure our beliefs and dreams into something tangible. From Pisces, Saturn casts its 10th aspect on Sagittarius, the same sign Jupiter aspects from Gemini, suggesting a powerful push-pull dynamic between idealism and realism. Saturn's steady pressure will demand that the lofty ideas and visions sparked by Jupiter's transit are grounded in practicality and tested through time. The nakshatras that Jupiter will transit through in Gemini add further nuance to this period. Jupiter will move through Mrigashira, Ardra, and Punarvasu nakshatras, each bringing their own flavor. Mrigashira, ruled by Soma, the moon, invokes curiosity and search for beauty and truth. Ardra, ruled by Rudra, a fierce form of Shiva, can bring storms, upheavals, and deep transformation through chaos. Punarvasu, ruled by Aditi, is a nakshatra of renewal and divine grace. These transitions signify a movement from intellectual restlessness, Mrigashira, through cathartic release and reconfiguration, Ardra, into healing and return to purpose, Punarvasu. Collectively, they illustrate a journey of mental evolution and emotional integration. Jupiter in Gemini may also accelerate developments in education reform, cross-border data policies, transportation networks, and media ethics. We may see new global standards around information access, AI governance, and online education. Jupiter's expansive influence can bring legal and philosophical challenges to digital platforms, raising important questions around freedom of speech, content ownership, and truth in the age of algorithms. Overall, Jupiter's transit in Gemini is not just about information, it's about the meaning we derive from it. The duality of Gemini teaches us that truth can wear many faces, and Jupiter reminds us that wisdom lies in understanding perspectives beyond our own. To thrive in this cycle, one must stay curious but grounded, open yet discerning, and flexible without losing moral clarity. As always, this transit will play out differently for each individual based on their personal chart, especially the placement of Jupiter, Mercury, and the houses. But at the collective level, this transit marks a time of intellectual renaissance, communication revolutions, and a renewed search for truth amidst the noise. It's a time to learn, unlearn, and relearn with humility, guided not only by facts but by wisdom. It is essential to note that while this transit provides favorable and unfavorable conditions, their impact is also dependent on your individual Mahadasha and Antardasha periods. If your current planetary period supports marriage, professional growth, or financial expansion, these transits will serve as a catalyst for those events. If your planetary period is focused on career rather than relationships, the energy of these transits will manifest in professional advancement rather than marriage. Understanding the interaction between transits and your personal dasha cycles will provide a more precise forecast of what to expect. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Jupiter's Ashtaka Varga score in Gemini. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Jupiter's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Jupiter Dasha or Jupiter return may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, the Jupiter transit into Gemini will be a pivotal period marked by intellectual expansion, spiritual exploration, and new initiatives. As the natural ruler of your 9th house of Dharma, higher education, and long-distance journeys, as well as your 12th house of spiritual liberation, foreign lands, and subconscious patterns, Jupiter's movement into your 3rd house of communication, short travels, courage, skills, and self-effort activates a dynamic and multifaceted life shift. The results of this transit will largely depend on how you blend action with faith, initiative with learning, and discipline with curiosity. The 3rd house is the field of personal effort, communication, skills, and enterprise. With Jupiter's benefic and expansive influence here, you are likely to feel a surge of motivation to take charge of your own destiny through bold actions. Whether it is launching a YouTube channel, exploring content creation, engaging in public speaking, or diving into marketing, now is the time to express yourself fully and fearlessly. The 9th Lord coming to the 3rd house shows a desire to disseminate wisdom. This can be in the form of teaching, preaching, writing, or consulting. If you have any latent interest in astrology, education, spirituality, or research, this is the right time to bring it forward and share it with the world. Although Jupiter is said to be uncomfortable in the 3rd house, this does not negate its potential. Instead, it shifts the emphasis. Results must come through conscious effort, not passive luck. It urges you to become the channel of your own good fortune through active engagement in learning, networking, and entrepreneurial endeavors. Jupiter's presence will magnify your desire to learn quickly and teach effectively. If you're preparing for interviews, cracking short-term certification courses, or developing a new skill, this is an especially fruitful time. Communication becomes your asset during this transit. Whether you are writing, recording, teaching, or pitching ideas, your ability to articulate with clarity and conviction will be significantly enhanced. Jupiter in Gemini is curious, intellectual, and dialogue-oriented. It's an excellent time to enroll in workshops, online platforms, and even scholarly publications become powerful tools for both learning and sharing. Your relationship with siblings, neighbors, and immediate environment also comes into focus. If there have been misunderstandings or distance, now is a karmic window to mend bridges. Jupiter's influence encourages reconciliation and building stronger community bonds. You may change your residence, which alters your circle of neighbors and environment, prompting you to cultivate new, meaningful relationships. Jupiter's aspects during this transit reveal a deeper, more layered impact. Its 5th aspect falls on the 7th house, bringing emphasis on relationships, partnerships, and marriage. This suggests a time where collaboration and interpersonal growth are prominent themes. However, you might need to adjust your communication style and expectations in order to nurture harmony. Spouses or partners may emerge as guides or teachers in your life, playing a significant role in your personal development. Jupiter's 7th aspect to the 9th house, its own domain, brings blessings in areas of higher learning, philosophy, and travel. This is a highly favorable aspect that encourages pilgrimage, spiritual retreats, or even international travel for education or professional advancement. You may encounter mentors who offer significant guidance, or perhaps you take on the role of a mentor yourself. Your father or spiritual teachers might also play an important role during this phase, and your relationship with them can deepen. The ninth aspect of Jupiter falls on the 11th house of gains, social networks, and recognition. This opens up opportunities for expansion through online platforms, community engagement, and social influence. It's a good time to reconnect with old friends, join new communities, or launch collaborative ventures. If you're involved in business or entrepreneurship, this aspect supports scaling your efforts through digital tools and long-term strategic vision. The 11th house also governs desires, and with Jupiter energizing this space, your aspirations may rise rapidly, though you'll need to manage them with patience and perspective. Financially, Jupiter's impact on the 11th house of gains and 3rd house of self-initiative suggests potential for earning through communication, consulting, media, or education. It's also a favorable time for investment in real estate, especially if you're considering buying or selling properties related to your place of birth or distant lands. From a karmic and spiritual perspective, this is a time to blend self-effort with surrender. You may find that certain pursuits require not only effort but also divine timing and trust in a larger cosmic plan. Since the 3rd house also signifies your inner will and courage, this transit is asking you to rise above hesitation and confusion. If you feel directionless or overwhelmed, it's an indication that you need a guru, a mentor, or a structured system to guide your path. Reach out to teachers, role models, or spiritual guides who can help you channel your efforts meaningfully. Those looking to settle abroad or gain permanent residency will find support from this transit, especially if ongoing dashas support the promise. Likewise, individuals engaged in consulting, coaching, teaching, or content-driven businesses will see significant growth if they consistently share value-driven content. The emphasis is on showing up consistently and authentically. Your karmic rewards lie in teaching what you know, learning what you don't, and staying devoted to your path. Overall, Jupiter's transit into Gemini for Aries individuals is not just about expansion, it is about conscious direction, courageous expression, and the disciplined pursuit of knowledge. Let this be a time where you take your internal wisdom and offer it to the world. Be mindful of distractions, overstimulation, and scattered efforts. Focus your energy on skill building, meaningful communication, and aligning with people who inspire and uplift you. Through effort, faith, and mentorship, this transit holds the potential to transform your personal narrative and elevate your social standing. Taurus individuals can expect a significant shift in their life's focus from personal development to tangible wealth, family growth, and long-term stability, as Jupiter enters Gemini. With Jupiter transiting your 2nd house, which is associated with speech, savings, values, and lineage, the upcoming year will bring expansive energies that enhance your ability to accumulate wealth, deepen familial bonds, and develop a refined understanding of your own value systems. Jupiter rules the 8th house, Sagittarius, and the 11th house, Pisces, for you, making it a multifaceted and layered period for transformation, gains, and establishing long-term security. The 2nd house is where your financial foundation lies, and Jupiter, being one of the significator of wealth, is well poised here to bring monetary growth and abundance. As the 11th Lord of Gains moving into the 2nd house of accumulation, Jupiter creates a strong Dana Yoga in transit, which signifies wealth-building opportunities through both your personal efforts and your wider social or professional network. This may be the time when you receive a long-awaited raise, see investment returns mature, or gain financially through collaborations and side ventures. If you've been working towards secondary income streams, this is the year they could solidify or even flourish. But Jupiter is not just about material abundance. It also calls you to refine how you earn, save, and speak. Your communication may become more influential, and your voice could play a key role in attracting prosperity. Those engaged in professions related to teaching, counseling, public speaking, writing, or consulting may see a surge in demand or success. In fact, any profession that utilizes your intellect and ability to connect with others through language will benefit. This transit also brings an opportunity for family growth and stronger emotional connections with your loved ones. For those seeking marriage, Jupiter's presence in the 2nd house can bring promising proposals, while those already in relationships may take the next step towards settling down. Childbirth or family expansion is favored, and there may be several family-related events like weddings or reunions that strengthen your sense of belonging and legacy. However, with this abundance also comes the possibility of indulgence. Jupiter as the 8th Lord, when transiting the 2nd house, can prompt overconsumption, be it food, material goods, or time spent in unproductive socializing. Be mindful of what you consume, physically, emotionally, and intellectually, as it can affect your health and productivity. Speaking of the 8th house, Jupiter's rulership here cannot be overlooked. The 8th house signifies deep transformation, sudden gains, psychological healing, occult knowledge, and in-laws. As this house finds resonance through Jupiter's transit in your 2nd house, You may experience breakthroughs related to past traumas or unresolved family issues. This could also manifest as an inheritance, unexpected financial support, or a transformative relationship with in-laws. If you've been dealing with debts or legal entanglements, this is a period to resolve them intelligently, possibly even gaining from the process if handled wisely. Jupiter's aspect on the 6th house through its 5th aspect will illuminate areas concerning your daily routine, physical health, and competition. You may become interested in unconventional healing techniques or wellness practices that bring long-lasting improvements. Learning becomes essential here. What you study now can have a direct impact on your employability, health, and habits. This is an excellent time to upskill, especially in areas like finance, law, data analysis, or communication. Also, this aspect brings a chance to resolve enmity and emerge victorious in competitive scenarios, including exams or legal disputes. The 7th aspect falls on your 8th house, once again emphasizing the undercurrents of transformation. Here, Jupiter acts as a guardian, protecting you from extreme upheavals while gently nudging you toward maturity and resilience. Whether it's sudden career changes, psychological shifts, or spiritual awakenings, Jupiter ensures that you emerge stronger and more aligned with your true path. If you've felt emotionally stagnant or overwhelmed in recent years, this is a chance to rejuvenate your inner self. The 9th aspect of Jupiter graces your 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. This is perhaps one of the most rewarding aspects of this transit. You may receive recognition for past efforts, be offered a leadership role, or find clarity about your long-term professional goals. Jupiter encourages you to align your career with your personal values, and any step taken now in the direction of your life purpose can yield sustainable success. Projects that involve learning, travel, or mentorship will be especially fruitful. If you're working in corporate environments, educational institutions, or healing professions, this aspect will support meaningful growth. What makes this transit truly powerful is the activation of your houses related to material and career-based pursuits, 2nd, 6th, and 10th. With Jupiter energizing all three, there's a clear theme. It's time to stabilize your financial base, refine your daily discipline, and pursue professional ambitions with purpose. However, Jupiter's expansive nature means that without focus, this energy can scatter. It's vital now to keep track of your time, manage your expenses wisely, and avoid overextending yourself in commitments. Taurus individuals should be wary of losing time in frivolous activities, especially social indulgences. The 11th house lord's connection to friends, parties, and social media can tempt you to spread your energy too thin. While celebrations and connections are important, they should not eclipse your higher goals. Balance is key. Enjoy the weddings, dinners, and reunions, but don't forget the discipline required to make the most of this blessed phase. Overall, Jupiter's transit in Gemini for Taurus individuals is a transformative and enriching period. It promises growth and wealth, deeper familial bonds, professional elevation, and psychological healing. Use this time to invest not only in financial assets but also in your inner wisdom, relationships, and legacy. Your speech, your values, and your practical wisdom will be your greatest assets. Stay humble, stay focused, and the fruits of this transit will bless you for years to come. For Gemini, the transit of Jupiter into your 1st house marks the beginning of a deeply transformative year. As the ruler of your 7th house of relationships and 10th house of career, Jupiter stepping into your 1st house, where it gains directional strength, is like the universe shining a spotlight on your entire existence. This is a rare and significant period that occurs once every 12 years, bringing with it the promise of growth, renewal, and a deeper understanding of your life's direction. You are likely to find yourself more introspective during this transit, questioning the core of who you are and what your true life path is. There's a strong drive now to improve yourself on every level, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Jupiter in the 1st house shifts focus inward, from the outer responsibilities of career and marriage to you, your health, your identity, and your sense of purpose. This is a time of rebirth, where you're not just trying to live better, but to live with greater meaning and intention. Your confidence will receive a significant boost. If you've been feeling unsure of yourself or directionless in recent months, this period will slowly restore clarity and belief in your own capabilities. The presence of Jupiter here can elevate your social image and transform how others perceive you. People will begin to regard you as more knowledgeable, wise, and trustworthy. Your ability to influence others through speech and presence will increase, and this makes it a great period for teachers, speakers, coaches, and anyone working in a guiding or consultative capacity. This internal transformation will also be visible externally. You may become more concerned with your appearance, how you carry yourself, and how you're received by others. While this can occasionally lead to a sense of being overly self-conscious, it also empowers you to align your outer persona with your inner growth. You'll find yourself naturally radiating more optimism, and people will seek your advice and presence more than usual. If you've been working on any public-facing platform or have considered launching a new venture in coaching, education, or public speaking, this is the time to do it. As Jupiter casts its fifth aspect on your fifth house, the themes of love, romance, education, and creativity come into sharper focus. If you've been dealing with heartbreaks or disappointments in love, this transit offers healing and a fresh perspective. New love may enter your life, but more importantly, you are now guided to form relationships that reflect your newfound self-awareness. If you have children, this is a nurturing time that can bring pride and happiness through their accomplishments. You'll also feel creatively rejuvenated, an excellent time for writing, studying, or developing passion projects that truly excite you. Jupiter's seventh aspect on your seventh house also brings relationship dynamics to the forefront. For those seeking marriage, this is one of the best transits, as Jupiter's blessings often bring the right person at the right time. If you're already married, your relationship can deepen through greater mutual understanding. However, since Saturn is also aspecting the seventh house, this influence might not always feel smooth. Conflicts may arise that force you to communicate more honestly and realign your relationship on firmer ground. In business partnerships too, clear communication and shared values will be essential. Set proper boundaries to avoid misunderstandings. Jupiter's ninth aspect on your ninth house is the golden gateway of this transit. The ninth house governs higher learning, long-distance travel, dharma, life purpose, and spiritual wisdom. This is where Jupiter performs at its most exalted. You may connect with a mentor, a spiritual teacher, or even become a guide for others. Foreign travel related to studies or spiritual growth is likely, and many of you will feel drawn to learn something that completely changes your worldview. It's the classic time to explore philosophy, astrology, religion, or anything that helps you understand the deeper truths of life. This influence also helps you align your actions with your principles, bringing both internal peace and external success. Jupiter is a planet of growth, but it also expands everything it touches, including the body. As such, there is a possibility of weight gain or health issues related to fat, liver, or sugar. Pay close attention to your physical health during this time. If you've been ignoring diet, sleep, or exercise, now is the moment to bring in discipline. Health improvements are highly possible if you actively take steps towards wellness. Professionally, Jupiter brings both opportunities and obstacles, depending on your individual chart. Since it rules the 10th house of karma, this transit brings new visibility and potential recognition at work. If you've been toiling without acknowledgement, this may change. Promotions, new leadership roles, or even completely new career paths may emerge. But because the 7th house rulership for Gemini, this transit could also bring subtle delays or require extra effort in professional life. Staying away from office politics and maintaining a focus on excellence will be key to navigating these hurdles. Financially, Jupiter's presence in the first house can increase income indirectly, to improve self-worth and better decision-making. For some, investments in knowledge, real estate, or gold may prove fruitful. Those who've been struggling to save or build financial stability can use this time to start afresh with better financial planning and smarter investing. Overall, this is a time for conscious reinvention. Jupiter's transit over your ascendant brings once in 12 years chances to rediscover yourself, redefine your life path, and align your outer actions with your inner truth. You'll end this transit with a new sense of purpose, greater self-respect, and deeper understanding of what truly matters. Embrace this journey with faith, humility, and an open mind, and it will reshape the trajectory of your entire decade. For Cancer, Jupiter's transit into Gemini marks a significant turning point as it moves into your 12th house. The 12th house is a complex domain, dealing with foreign lands, spirituality, liberation, losses, endings, and hidden areas. Jupiter, being the ruler of your 6th and 9th houses, enters a space that brings a blend of karmic closures and spiritual breakthroughs. This is not just a period of events, but a deep internal reckoning. With Jupiter in this zone, you are being urged to shed the past and make space for a more conscious, awakened version of yourself. The 6th house governs daily routines, health, debts, and enemies. The 9th is the house of dharma, wisdom, higher learning, and fortune. When Jupiter transits the 12th house as the lord of these areas, your focus naturally shifts inward. You may find that certain tasks or jobs that once seemed pressing now feel burdensome or even irrelevant. This is a time to close old chapters. Projects that aren't aligned with your sole purpose will naturally dissolve or show signs of stagnation. However, those endeavors that are meant to serve your long-term growth may finally yield results before being completed. And when Jupiter enters your first house next year, a new beginning awaits, but only if you use this year to let go of what no longer serves you. One of the strongest themes in this transit is the surge in spiritual interest. Jupiter is the natural significator of spirituality, and the 12th house amplifies this energy. You may feel drawn to meditation, yoga, retreats, or spiritual groups. The desire to detach from the material noise of the world becomes strong. But this isn't escapism, it's a call to rediscover meaning. If you've been too caught up in worldly distractions, this period might feel like a detox, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's not uncommon to feel isolated or even confused initially, but this solitude is fertile ground for self-realization. However, with the 6th Lord entering the 12th, health can become a critical area of concern. Diseases related to sugar, liver, and digestion may surface, especially if you have a history of indulging in sweets or rich foods. The emotional eating habits typical of Cancer individuals can spiral during this phase. It's vital to regulate these patterns now. Unchecked habits may lead to hospitalization or chronic issues like insulin resistance or high blood pressure. A balanced diet, regular health checkups, and a disciplined lifestyle are your best shields. Remember, this combination of 6th and 12th houses creates a Viparita Raj Yoga, a blessing in disguise, which means short-term discomfort can bring long-term benefits if you respond with awareness. The 12th house is also the house of foreign lands, and Jupiter's presence here can lead to travel, relocation, or long-term stays abroad. You may go overseas for work, education, or spiritual learning. If you're already living abroad and facing hurdles, unemployment, visa delays, or PR issues, Jupiter's movement will bring clarity and likely resolution within the transit window, especially if you are in a favorable Mahadasha. However, don't expect the process to be smooth from the start. There may be sudden shifts or uncomfortable transitions initially. Whether it's a new assignment abroad, a health scare, or shifting your residence, these changes are designed to push you into your dharmic path. Have your paperwork, insurance, and backup plans in place. Delays may test your patience, but the outcomes can be solid. Financially, this is a time of cleanup. Jupiter in the 12th tends to amplify expenses. You may feel pulled to spend on spiritual travels, health, charity, or even hidden expenses. Avoid impulsive purchases or taking on debt, especially for luxury or show. Invest in causes aligned with your higher purpose, hospital donations, renovations, or charity in general. If done silently and with sincerity, such acts can generate profound karmic merit. This is also a good time to reevaluate your long-term financial strategies. Jupiter's aspects during this transit are also important. Its 5th aspect on your 4th house will heighten your emotional need for peace, comfort, and a stable home. You may feel drawn to revamp your living space, move to a quieter location, or return to childhood comforts. This can be a healing time for family relationships too. Jupiter's 7th aspect falls on your 6th house, creating an echo of its rulership there. This reinforces health awareness, work-life balance, and your ability to overcome competition or legal issues. If you've been dealing with long-standing conflicts or debts, solutions may arise, but they will require maturity and detachment. Lastly, Jupiter's 9th aspect on the 8th house signals deep inner transformation. You may uncover hidden truths, both within yourself and your relationships. Be open to sudden revelations and trust that even uncomfortable realizations are part of your awakening. This transit also emphasizes understanding your self-worth. With the 12th house ruling liberation and surrender, Jupiter here challenges your material identity. If you've defined your worth by social status or external achievements, this time may feel like an ego purge. But it's an invitation to rebuild confidence based on your inner truth. Start by writing down your strengths, getting feedback, and engaging in activities that align with your authentic self. For those studying or involved in legal, philosophical, or linguistic pursuits, this can be a period of intense learning. The 9th house rulership brings a blessing of higher education, long-distance mentorship, and exposure to different cultures. If you're considering studying abroad or engaging in advanced spiritual or academic disciplines, this is a supportive year to take that leap. Overall, Jupiter's transit through your 12th house is a cosmic detox. It asks you to retreat from the noise, face your shadows, and align with your inner truth. It may not be the most materially rewarding year, but it is incredibly powerful for those ready to surrender, heal, and evolve. If used wisely, this transit prepares you for a brand new life chapter when Jupiter enters your ascendant. Until then, trust the process, keep your faith alive, and walk the path of conscious detachment. That alone will open the doors to liberation, healing, and deep personal expansion. For Leo, the upcoming Jupiter transit into Gemini marks a powerful period of wish fulfillment, expansive networking, and personal growth through social and professional interactions. As Jupiter moves into your 11th house, which governs gains, aspirations, social circles, and long-term goals, you are stepping into a window of abundant opportunities. The 11th house is naturally aligned with the energy of rewards and achievements, and with Jupiter's expansive nature, This transit has the potential to multiply your income, amplify your visibility, and fulfill dreams that have been long pending. Jupiter is your 5th and 8th house lord, ruling over areas related to creativity, children, education, past life merits, and sudden gains or transformations. As it transits your 11th house, this combination forms a potent Dana Yoga in transit, which is often associated with wealth, success, and fulfillment of material and spiritual goals. Expect opportunities to grow your income through both traditional employment and entrepreneurial ventures. If you are involved in business, particularly ventures connected to knowledge, education, finance, spirituality, or even digital platforms, the chances of expansion and success are very high. There is also a strong chance of financial gains through your spouse, in-laws, or joint investments due to the 8th house involvement. The 11th house also governs large organizations and professional groups, so those working within MNCs or planning a transition into such companies will find this period ripe with potential. Relocation or a change in residence is also possible, as the 11th house is the 8th from the 4th, indicating transformation related to home and domestic life. Promotions, raises, or new job offers can be expected, especially if your current dasha or antardasha supports it. If you've felt stuck in your current role, this transit brings fresh chances to move into a more authoritative or respected position. However, to unlock these blessings, your efforts, intentions, and current planetary periods must be aligned. Jupiter brings opportunities, but it rewards those who are willing to work for them. Social interactions and networking will become a central theme during this period. You'll feel a stronger desire to connect with communities, build new friendships, and find like-minded individuals who can support your journey. Your influence in social or professional circles could increase, leading to a rise in popularity and recognition. If you are engaged in creative work or any kind of public presence, such as media, content creation, or teaching, this transit could significantly raise your visibility. From a spiritual and psychological standpoint, the presence of the 8th Lord, Jupiter, in the 11th house signals an internal shift in how you approach challenges. You may find yourself growing more solution-oriented, realizing that healing comes not from blame, but from self-awareness and transformation. There's an increased interest in research or hidden knowledge. You may feel more drawn to uncovering the roots of your personal patterns and use this wisdom to empower yourself and others. Jupiter's 5th aspect will fall on your 3rd house, influencing courage, effort, communication, and relationships with siblings or close colleagues. This can stimulate a desire to speak out, write more, or create new content, particularly in areas where you have valuable expertise. However, this aspect can also bring up past trust issues or a sense of betrayal if you've experienced deception or miscommunication before. Be cautious with who you trust and make sure your intentions are clear in all professional and personal dealings. Jupiter's 7th aspect on your 5th house brings positive growth related to children, creativity, and romance. If you're looking to start a family, this transit could be supportive. If you already have children, their accomplishments or life events could bring you pride. Creative projects are likely to blossom now, and there's a strong possibility for romantic developments, either new relationships or taking an existing one to the next level. However, because Saturn also aspects this house, some seriousness or karmic responsibility may be tied to these themes. Jupiter's 9th aspect on your 7th house brings attention to partnerships, both marital and business. It's a good time to build meaningful collaborations and expand existing ones, especially those rooted in shared purpose and ideals. If you are single, someone from your social network or professional circle could become a potential romantic partner. In business, you may find the right collaborators to take a new idea forward. Rahu's influence on this house means you must approach all partnerships with maturity and responsibility. There is also a strong connection to digital expansion. Gemini is a sign of communication and technology, and with Jupiter transiting here, this is an excellent time to start something online. Whether it's a blog, YouTube channel, online course, or consultancy, you may be more vocal about your beliefs or ideas, and your communication skills could attract recognition, profits, or both. Be mindful though, while Jupiter blesses, it can also expand ego or exaggerate expectations. Keep grounded in your actions. Financially, this is one of the most promising transits of recent times for Leo individuals. If you've made past investments, the period post-May 2025 could bring returns, possibly unexpectedly. Gains can come through dividends, property, or even sudden inheritances or settlements. You could also stumble upon opportunities for making easy money, but discretion is advised. Don't gamble or overextend yourself. Take calculated risks if you must. On the flip side, heightened desires during this period can create emotional turbulence. With your aspirations on the rise, so too can come impatience or frustration if things don't materialize quickly. Relationships could suffer if you're overly focused on goals to the exclusion of emotional needs. Be especially mindful in your interactions with your partner or family. Arguments can arise from unspoken expectations or a feeling of emotional neglect. To navigate this period successfully, focus on balance. Manage your time and energy wisely between professional pursuits and personal commitments. Stay open to learning and new experiences. Stay humble, even as recognition grows. And most importantly, cultivate the mindset of contribution. Jupiter in the 11th blesses those who share their gains, be it knowledge, money, or time, with others. Overall, this transit has the potential to elevate your social standing, increase your wealth, enhance your relationships, and align you with long-term aspirations. It is not just a period of receiving, but also one of giving and growing through wisdom, collaboration, and conscious action. For Virgo, Jupiter's transit into Gemini marks a major turning point in your professional and public life. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, wisdom, and higher purpose, will be moving into your 10th house, the house of career, status, authority, karma, and societal impact. As the lord of the 4th and 7th houses, Jupiter holds critical importance for Virgo individuals. It governs your home life, inner peace, emotional well-being, as well as relationships, marriage, and professional partnerships. This transit, therefore, doesn't just influence your career. It ties your professional rise with your personal equilibrium and the quality of your one-on-one partnerships. The 10th house represents midheaven in the chart, your public reputation, achievements, professional identity, and your role in the world. Jupiter entering this house is akin to a spotlight being cast on your dharma, the work you're meant to do. During this transit, many of you will experience recognition, promotions, awards, or at the very least, a sense of professional purpose that may have eluded you before. If you've been stuck in a role that didn't reflect your abilities or ambitions, Jupiter now opens doors to career breakthroughs. For those who are unemployed, underemployed, or feeling stagnant, the chances of landing a job or moving into a more fulfilling role dramatically increase. This is also a time to pursue knowledge that can enhance your career. Jupiter favors education and learning, especially in Gemini, a sign ruled by Mercury, which governs communication, analytics, and intellectual adaptability. Enrolling in leadership training, management courses, or certifications relevant to your field could yield exponential results. You may find yourself drawn to learn about administration, project management, or even spiritual disciplines that help you align your outer work with your inner compass. With Jupiter as your 4th lord, what you learn now will not just affect your workplace competence but will shape your sense of inner security and direction. There is a strong indication that many Virgos will be seen as teachers, guides, or mentors in their professional space. You may be asked to share your expertise, give talks, or take on a leadership role where others look to you for wisdom. This is a transit of growth through giving. Sharing what you know will be one of the strongest remedies for maximizing Jupiter's blessings. Humility, cooperation, and a willingness to uplift others will define how well this transit works for you. Jupiter is not just bringing external gains, it is elevating your spiritual and karmic responsibility. You're not just building a career, you're building legacy and credibility. Jupiter's aspects during this transit further amplify the significance. Its 5th aspect falls on your 2nd house of wealth, values, and speech, suggesting that this is a powerful time to monetize your skills and establish a new financial foundation. You might develop secondary sources of income, especially from work that involves communication, knowledge sharing, or client interactions. You'll likely see an improvement in how you speak and express yourself, and that could directly attract new opportunities. Jupiter also casts its 7th aspect onto your 4th house, which is significant when coupled with Saturn's ongoing influence. This will bring a balancing act between home and career. The pressure to succeed professionally could pull you out of your comfort zone, prompting you to create a stronger structure at home or take on responsibilities related to property or family. For some, it could signal changes in real estate matters, such as buying or renovating property. Emotionally, you may need to consciously nurture yourself while aiming high professionally. Its 9th aspect falls on your 6th house of daily work, health, competition, and service. Here, Jupiter helps you bring wisdom and balance into your routines. You'll likely become more consistent and efficient, possibly learning new health regimens or time management strategies. If you've been dealing with work-related stress, legal matters, or health issues, this is the time when resolution begins to show. Jupiter's wisdom will help you understand the value of a steady routine and the importance of consistency. For those in business, Jupiter's transit in Gemini will likely bring strong growth through partnerships and client-based work. The 7th house influence comes into play here. Not only does it boost your professional relationships, but it also encourages harmony in your marriage and personal partnerships. You may find that your spouse or business partner plays a critical role in your success during this period. If single, this transit could bring a new relationship into your life, potentially someone connected to your work or sharing similar intellectual or spiritual interests. Communication becomes key now, as Gemini is the sign of interaction, messaging, and commerce. Jobs that involve writing, speaking, marketing, teaching, consulting, or client servicing will be particularly favored. If you're seeking a new role, target profiles that require strong verbal and written skills. Your ability to articulate complex ideas simply and persuasively will set you apart. From a karmic perspective, this transit urges you to step into responsibility without ego. Jupiter also rules the 7th house, and for Virgo individuals, this makes Jupiter a functionally malefic, meaning it can challenge you through ego dissolution and relationship triggers. Do not let pride, arrogance, or a superiority complex sabotage your rise. Leadership is not about domination, but about guidance. Building positive karma through humility and generosity, especially at work, is essential. This transit will also test your adaptability. Gemini is a mutable air sign. It's fast-moving and thrives on change. You will be exposed to new ways of thinking, new work styles, and perhaps a more dynamic environment than you're used to. Embrace it. Jupiter in Gemini rewards mental flexibility. Those willing to upskill, collaborate, and innovate will see the greatest growth. If you're in your Jupiter's dasha periods, the effects of this transit will be particularly pronounced. You may bypass years of slow progress and find yourself catapulted into senior roles or executive opportunities, even at a young age. But this acceleration comes with responsibility. You must be ready to embody the ethical and wise leader Jupiter expects you to be. Overall, this is not just a good transit for career, it's one of the most important ones in recent years. The 10th house is your career house, and Jupiter here aligns your actions with divine timing. Whether you're starting fresh, rebuilding, or rising to new heights, Jupiter's wisdom will be your guiding light. The best way to work with this energy is to stay open, grounded, and generous. Success is assured, but your attitude will decide the quality of that success. For Libra, Jupiter's transit into Gemini activates the 9th house of higher knowledge, dharma, and fortune, initiating a period of profound spiritual, intellectual, and personal development. As the natural significator of the 9th house, Jupiter's presence here brings auspicious opportunities to deepen your connection with your beliefs, wisdom traditions, and teachers. This transit fosters an inner calling toward learning, truth-seeking, and higher education. Whether you pursue a formal academic path, explore spiritual teachings, or simply become more inquisitive about life's deeper meanings, this is the most potent time in recent years to expand your worldview and align with your dharmic path. Jupiter rules the 3rd and 6th houses for Libra rising, which brings an interesting interplay of effort, service, and self-improvement into this 9th house journey. The 3rd house, associated with courage, communication, and self-initiated efforts, finds an expansive outlet through the 9th house's global and spiritual lens. You are likely to be more proactive in seeking out mentors, signing up for courses, or engaging with people from different backgrounds and belief systems. If you have been contemplating higher studies, foreign travel, or even a pilgrimage, Jupiter's movement now opens these doors wide. This is especially true if your work involves writing, communication, media, or consultancy, as Jupiter will not only increase your exposure but also bring people seeking your advice or expertise. The 6th house rulership also means Jupiter will offer healing and guidance around daily routines, health, and service. If you've been battling chronic health issues, or feeling overwhelmed by your responsibilities, this transit can initiate healing through spiritual practices, alternative medicine, or by changing your daily habits to align more with your deeper values. Holistic health becomes a theme here. You may feel drawn to yoga, meditation, or mindfulness-based therapies. The 9th house, being 12th from the 10th, can also bring temporary setbacks or transitions in career. There may be a sense of letting go of your current professional identity or status, either through a job change or inner disillusionment with your current role. However, this seeming loss often acts as a redirection, allowing you to realign your profession with your higher purpose, which you may uncover during this transit. Jupiter's aspects during this transit enhance several key areas of your life. Its 5th aspect on your 1st house infuses your personality with more confidence, wisdom, and magnetism. You may be seen as more knowledgeable and inspiring, attracting attention and respect for your insights. This can be an excellent time to take up leadership roles or become a guide to others. The 7th aspect on your 3rd house boosts your communication skills, short travels, and sibling relationships. You may develop new friendships or professional networks through travel, classes, or community work. This is a highly favorable time to upgrade your skill sets, take up language studies, or begin writing or publishing projects. The ninth aspect on your fifth house activates matters related to children, creativity, romance, and learning. For those trying to conceive, this transit could bring joyful news. If you already have children, your relationship with them will deepen through shared learning or travel. Creatively, you are ripe for expressing ideas in meaningful and innovative ways. Teachers, counselors, artists, and spiritual guides will find themselves in their element during this period. You may even be called to teach or mentor others, especially if you've been cultivating knowledge in a specific domain. Spiritually, this transit may ignite an intense desire to find your guru or build a deeper relationship with one if already found. You might be drawn to sacred texts or philosophical dialogues. This is a time where divinity, or universal truth, starts to play an active role in your life, not just as an abstract idea but as a lived experience. Many Libra individuals during this transit may find themselves more devoted to rituals, prayers, and spiritual communities. On the relationship front, there may be a growing need to spiritualize your connection with your partner. Even if married life is running well or going through rough patches, you'll feel a pull toward bringing more meaning and higher values into it. However, this idealism must be balanced, as Jupiter can sometimes inflate expectations or beliefs that may not be shared by your partner. Be cautious of becoming too preachy or rigid in your views, especially in domestic or romantic contexts. Instead, allow your spiritual development to radiate naturally through your actions. There may also be some karmic themes with the father or father figures. For some, this could be a time of healing and reconnection. For others, this transit might involve responsibilities or lessons connected to the father, or receiving important guidance that shifts your life path. If you have unresolved issues in this area, Jupiter's passage can bring understanding, resolution, or the spiritual maturity needed to navigate them. Professionally, while the ninth house transit may at first feel like a break from the hustle, it's actually laying the foundation for your next big leap when Jupiter enters your 10th house in Cancer. Conflicts with bosses, disagreements with father figures, or authority struggles may arise, nudging you to rethink your professional identity. Yet this is not necessarily a loss but a redirection. Education, guidance, and long-distance connections made now can directly lead to future success. If you're involved in teaching, coaching, legal professions, or any career linked with media, foreign affairs, or religion, this is a time of noticeable growth and recognition. If you're currently working in a job that feels disconnected from your soul's purpose, don't be surprised if you feel called to explore more meaningful work, perhaps even self-employment, or a knowledge-sharing business from home. This transit does caution against being overly idealistic or rigid about your beliefs. The urge to convert others to your path or judge differing perspectives can arise. Stay open, humble, and curious. The true power of Jupiter in the ninth for Libra comes when knowledge is used as a bridge, not a barrier. To maximize this transit, consider taking a course that aligns with your long-term goals, explore new philosophies, revisit old ones with a fresh eye, start journaling your insights, and actively seek mentors. Overall, Jupiter's movement through Gemini in 2025 brings one of the most expansive, enlightening, and transformative chapters for Libra individuals. Whether through books, teachers, journeys, or inner realizations, you're being asked to align with a higher truth. Embrace it fully, and you'll find yourself wiser, freer, and more purposeful by the end of this transit. For Scorpio, the transit of Jupiter into Gemini, your 8th house, marks a profound phase of inner transformation and external shifts. Jupiter, the expansive and wisdom-giving planet, governs your 2nd house of speech, values, and wealth, and your 5th house of creativity, romance, and education. As this wise teacher moves into the mysterious and intense terrain of the 8th house, it brings a blend of upheaval, growth, and enlightenment, touching the most hidden aspects of your life. The 8th house is no ordinary house. It is the domain of death, rebirth, shared resources, psychological depth, and all things taboo or concealed. With Jupiter's optimistic and expansive gaze here, you are being invited to explore the underworld of your psyche, uncover buried truths, and transform fear into strength. This is a potent time for Scorpios who are already immersed in fields such as astrology, healing, psychotherapy, surgery, finance, or occult sciences. Jupiter fuels your thirst for deeper knowledge, making it an ideal period for research, investigation, and uncovering truths that had previously eluded you. You may feel an inner pull toward esoteric studies, ancient texts, or spiritual sciences. If you've ever considered learning astrology, or any form of sacred healing, this is the time to delve deeply into those disciplines. Your intuition is sharpening, and so is your discernment. On a material level, Jupiter's presence here can indicate financial gains through other people, whether that's inheritance, alimony, insurance, or joint investments. However, it is also the house of sudden changes, so these gains may come through unexpected or even uncomfortable means. Jupiter offers the promise of growth but demands surrender. You may experience sudden events, perhaps unsettling at first, that overall redirect your life for the better. This is especially likely if your current dasha supports Jupiter's energy. For some, this could be the start of a completely new phase in life, particularly if the 8th house is already activated in your chart. This transit may also stir deep emotional and psychological wounds that have long been buried. The 8th house holds all the moments when we felt rejected, humiliated, betrayed, or shamed. Jupiter's light now shines into these dark corners, helping you confront and begin to heal these traumas. Rather than resisting this process, embracing vulnerability and seeking spiritual practices such as yoga, meditation, or fasting will allow for cathartic release. You might feel a sudden need to isolate, retreat into nature, or visit spiritually charged places. This is not escapism but rather a necessary withdrawal for self-renewal. The liberation houses, 4th, 8th, and 12th houses, are all activated now, urging you to find peace within, not without. Jupiter aspects the 12th house by its 5th aspect, the 2nd house by its 7th, and the 4th house by its 9th. Each of these aspects adds dimension to this transformative phase. The 12th house influence enhances spiritual longing and interest in solitude or foreign retreats. You may feel inspired to let go of old baggage, patterns, or even relationships that no longer serve your higher purpose. The 2nd house aspect brings attention to wealth, family, and values. Expect financial themes to intensify, perhaps sudden expenses or unexpected gains. It's also a time to watch your speech. Your words carry power now, and misuse could lead to unintended consequences. Jupiter's 9th aspect to the 4th house connects all this inner growth to your emotional security, home, and family. You may feel the urge to create a more peaceful domestic environment, or make physical changes to your home that reflect your evolving inner state. Relationships are likely to go through their own upheavals during this time. If you are single, you may find yourself drawn to deep, karmic connections that feel destined but intense. If you are in a relationship, expect emotional truths to surface, both yours and your partner's. Transparency and emotional honesty are essential now. This is also a fertile period for those hoping to expand their families, since Jupiter rules the 5th house of children and is now influencing areas of joint ventures and inheritance. There may be developments related to childbirth or family expansion, especially if the dasha supports it. But beware of expectations. Jupiter in the 8th can heighten desires to the point of dissatisfaction if not balanced with emotional maturity. There's also a caution here. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and in the 8th house, that can also include anxiety, secrets, or scandal if the energy is not channeled positively. Some may fall into the trap of seeking too many opinions or consultations. While guidance is good, jumping from one source to another could scatter your energy and create confusion. Pick one path and one mentor, and stay the course. In terms of health, the 8th house governs chronic illnesses and surgeries. If you have been neglecting certain health matters, now is the time to take them seriously. However, with Jupiter's grace, you are more likely to find effective treatments or healing practices that address root causes rather than just symptoms. Surgery, if needed, can be successful, particularly for issues that have been persistent. Professionally, this is a time to reinvent yourself. If you've been stuck in a role or identity that no longer fits, Jupiter gives you the courage to shed your old skin. You may explore alternative careers, or a side hustle could become your main calling. Research, technology, healing, and finance are all favored fields. You may also take calculated risks, particularly in investments, but remember, the 8th house deals in extremes. Gains can be immense, but so can losses. Consult your personal dasha timeline before making any bold moves. Overall, this transit asks Scorpio to go deep, not just into the world, but into the self. It's about clearing out karmic debt, healing ancestral patterns, and preparing for a new era of emotional and spiritual authenticity. The transformation won't be easy, and at times it may feel like you're being stripped bare. But the reward is immense, a truer, freer, and more powerful version of yourself. For Sagittarius, the transit of Jupiter into Gemini marks a significant shift in focus from self-development and home matters to partnerships, public interactions, and cooperative ventures. Jupiter, the most important planet in your chart as the ruler of both your 1st house of self and 4th house of emotional foundation and home, now moves into your 7th house of relationships, marriage, business partnerships, and public image. This transit brings the expansive, benevolent, and guiding qualities of Jupiter into direct contact with your ability to connect meaningfully with others. With Jupiter transiting 7th house, your relationships take focus. You may find yourself entering new partnerships, either romantic or business-oriented, or strengthening the existing ones. If you've been navigating through uncertainty in a relationship, this transit brings healing and a possibility for reconciliation. For those who are single, this could be the year you seriously consider marriage, as proposals may come your way or pressure from family might increase to settle down. This transit also supports the growth of businesses and joint ventures, particularly those based on wisdom, teaching, counseling, or sharing of knowledge. If you've been considering starting a new enterprise, especially one where you guide or help others, Jupiter's position here can offer the necessary momentum and social recognition. Partnerships will prove profitable, not just in a financial sense, but also in terms of visibility and fulfillment. Your public image may grow, and you may be seen as someone wise, articulate, and capable of mentoring others. The 7th house, after all, also governs how the world perceives you through your interactions. There's a powerful psychological shift that comes with this transit. Jupiter's move to your 7th house challenges you to soften your stance, to understand others' perspectives more deeply, and to embrace humility. While Sagittarius is naturally inclined to seek freedom and expansiveness, Jupiter in Gemini, a sign of duality and dialogue, teaches you the importance of mutual respect, listening, and collaboration. This is not the time to adopt a know-it-all approach, even if your intentions are noble. Instead, real growth will occur when you let others lead, contribute, and reflect back truths about yourself that you might have overlooked. On a more nuanced level, Jupiter's 5th aspect to your 11th house, the house of gains, friendships, and networks, indicates that your social circle is also expanding. There may be opportunities for collaboration through social media or large organizations. You may receive support, encouragement, or even professional openings from your extended network. However, this expansion comes with a warning: be mindful of betrayal, misunderstandings, or overly idealistic expectations from online friendships. Jupiter may inflate your hopes. Use discernment in who you trust and what you share. Jupiter's 7th aspect on your ascendant is equally powerful. This aspect brings blessings to your physical health, self-confidence, and overall sense of direction. Combined with Saturn's aspect from Pisces, this becomes a defining period of transformation in your personality. You might change how you present yourself to the world, adopt a more mature approach to relationships, and improve your habits, discipline, and daily routine. These changes, though possibly uncomfortable at first, are important for long-term success and stability. The 9th aspect of Jupiter on your 3rd house, the house of communication, efforts, courage, and siblings, brings opportunities to explore new ways of thinking, learning, and expressing yourself. This is a great time for skill building, short travels, and adopting unconventional methods in your work or hobbies. If you've been dreaming of launching a podcast, blog, or a knowledge-sharing platform, the time is ripe. Your efforts to communicate meaningfully will be met with recognition, and your words may carry greater impact than before. The involvement of Jupiter's rulership over your 4th house also brings family and emotional healing into the picture. There might be important developments at home, perhaps property investments, reconciliation with a parent or spouse, or shifts in your domestic environment, improving the overall emotional climate of the household. You might also feel the urge to make your living space more peaceful and aligned with your internal goals, which supports your ability to engage with the outer world more effectively. Jupiter's influence is highly beneficial in the 7th house. However, its power here must be channeled with intention and humility. It's easy to fall into a pattern of excessive desires, wanting more from your partner, more from your business, more attention, more growth. While Jupiter promises abundance, it also tests you through the moral compass it instills. Stay true to your values and avoid the temptation to chase quantity over quality. This transit is filled with potential, but it calls for a fine balance between personal ambition and relational harmony. The more you invest in authentic partnerships, the more you grow, not just in business or love, but in self-awareness. Your closest relationships become mirrors, revealing not just your strengths but your blind spots. This is your opportunity to build your life around meaningful connections, one honest interaction at a time. Overall, Jupiter's transit through Gemini invites you to expand not by going solo, but by walking hand in hand with others. Whether in love, business, or friendship, growth now comes through unity, collaboration, and shared purpose. This is a time to cultivate maturity in your partnerships, invest in meaningful conversations, and realign your public image through wisdom, compassion, and sincerity. Make the most of this auspicious transit by staying open-hearted, grounded, and committed to mutual growth. For Capricorn, Jupiter's transit into Gemini marks a significant turning point, as the planet of expansion and wisdom enters your 6th house of health, daily routine, conflicts, debts, and service. Jupiter, being the natural benefic, tends to bring a positive light wherever it goes, but its placement in the 6th house often comes with a paradox. it amplifies the house it transits. Since the sixth house rules struggles, this transit brings an expansion of those very challenges, but also the knowledge, strength, and resources to overcome them. This period will demand focus, self-discipline, and maturity, and will reward those who are willing to rise above adversity. Jupiter rules your 12th house of spirituality, isolation, foreign lands, and expenses, as well as your 3rd house of communication, skills, and efforts. With these two converging in the 6th house, the themes of inner and outer conflict merge. On one hand, this transit may bring about scenarios where you are forced to confront health issues that have been lingering in the background. For some, these could be newly emerging ailments. For others, previously dormant issues may flare up. However, rather than causing damage, Jupiter's light will likely help you diagnose and understand these issues better. This period can be seen as a wake-up call to realign your lifestyle, especially dietary habits and hygiene. There could be a renewed urge to follow a more holistic approach to health, or adopting routines that promote wellness in both body and mind. The presence of Jupiter here is also likely to bring heightened awareness regarding dietary choices, especially overindulgence in rich, sugary, or processed foods. Since Jupiter governs the liver and fat metabolism, this could be a sensitive area for many Capricorns. Parties, celebrations, and social indulgences may tempt you to lose sight of balance. You must be vigilant, as seemingly harmless excesses could spiral into long-term health concerns. The 6th house also governs the kind of food and habits that either help or hurt your physical system. Opting for healthy meals, mindful eating, and maintaining hydration will go a long way during this time. Professionally, this transit could be a mixed bag. On the one hand, it can bring new job opportunities or lead to improvements in your current work environment. Your communication style and intellectual sharpness may see a significant boost, helping you navigate complex situations at the workplace with greater ease. If you have been dealing with difficult coworkers, tense atmospheres, or hostile clients, Jupiter's influence could help you find ways to resolve these issues diplomatically. However, don't expect a smooth ride. This transit can initially intensify work stress, deadlines, and conflict. The environment will likely become fast-paced, demanding quick decisions and sharp mental responses. Those in service-based professions, medicine, law, or daily operational roles may find their responsibilities increasing. Yet this expansion comes with the chance for long-term growth. Litigation, debts, and financial obstacles are also likely themes during this time. Jupiter's presence can bring these issues to the surface, especially if your ongoing dasha periods support 6th house energies. You may find yourself entangled in legal matters or required to take a loan, perhaps for purposes like medical treatment, business expansion, or relocation. If this happens, Jupiter's influence can help you find support systems or institutions that offer aid. Remember, the 6th house is about surmounting problems rather than being consumed by them. Through strategic planning, professional guidance, and perseverance, these struggles can become stepping stones. The spiritual undertone of this transit shouldn't be ignored. The 12th house ruler Jupiter influencing the 6th indicates karmic cleansing through service, humility, and devotion. You may be drawn towards volunteering, healing practices, or even exploring spiritual disciplines that involve bodily discipline. For some, this could even manifest as working in institutions that serve the underprivileged, such as hospitals or NGOs. The simultaneous influence of Saturn in Pisces adds a grounding, realistic approach to your spiritual and service-oriented pursuits. Jupiter's 5th aspect falls on your 10th house, bringing a protective influence to your career sector. This could lead to career growth, new responsibilities, or even a job change. The key lies in staying open to learning, whether it's upskilling through new certifications, taking on challenging assignments, or being mentored by a senior. Jupiter supports knowledge-based growth. If your work involves teaching, writing, research, or consulting, this is an especially productive time. At the same time, since Jupiter also aspects the 2nd house of speech, savings, and family, you may notice an improvement in your ability to express yourself clearly, manage finances better, and maintain family harmony, provided you remain humble and grounded. The 7th aspect of Jupiter on your 12th house reactivates themes of travel, isolation, and expense. You may travel for work, retreat for spiritual healing, or relocate altogether. This is a good time to begin spiritual practices, or resume them with deeper commitment. However, excessive spending on luxuries or escapism should be avoided. With both Saturn and Jupiter influencing this house, your spiritual growth is meant to come from responsibility and practice, not from running away or indulging in fantasy. Jupiter's 9th aspect on the 2nd house ties back into themes of health and family. What you consume, speak, and save all become focal points. Your diet may need a revamp, especially if health concerns arise. On a more positive note, Jupiter here can help you grow your income if you invest wisely. Family relationships could improve, especially if they have been strained due to past misunderstandings. Your words carry power now, so use them to heal rather than hurt. Emotionally, this transit may feel burdensome at first, especially if you are already under pressure. But it is also a time of growth, where you are being prepared to rise above your limitations. With 3rd and 12th Lord Jupiter in the 6th, indicates that through your own efforts and inner discipline, you can overcome long-standing obstacles. You will be required to put in effort, but Jupiter will guide your logic, your words, and your sense of duty. Avoid arrogance and stubbornness, as these traits could block the blessings of this period. Overall, Jupiter's transit in your 6th house is not about luxury or ease, it is about preparation. You are being trained to handle pressure, to serve others, to heal, and to purify your body and mind. If you take this period seriously, avoid escapism, and focus on structured progress, the rewards will be long-lasting. It may not be a glamorous transit, but it can be deeply transformative, equipping you with the tools and wisdom needed for the years ahead. For Aquarius, the upcoming Jupiter transit into Gemini marks a highly dynamic and spiritually enriching phase of life. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, knowledge, and prosperity, governs your 2nd house of wealth, family, and speech, and your 11th house of gains, income, and desires. With this transit, Jupiter moves into your 5th house, which governs creativity, romance, education, children, speculative ventures, and self-expression. This planetary shift brings transformative energy to your life, aligning your intellectual pursuits and inner calling with tangible opportunities for expansion. Jupiter's entry into your 5th house turns your focus inward and upward. The 5th house reflects your inherent creativity, your capacity to shine, and your desire to contribute something meaningful to the world. Jupiter here encourages you to seek out what truly brings you joy and fulfillment, not just in a material sense but in a way that connects to your higher self. Whether through education, creative projects, or romance, you'll likely feel a magnetic pull toward activities that make you feel alive, appreciated, and aligned with your purpose. Educational pursuits take focus during this period. If you're currently studying or planning to take up a course, this transit supports deep engagement and clarity in learning. Whether it's academic subjects, spiritual teachings, or mastering a hobby, Jupiter enhances your ability to absorb knowledge and apply it practically. It's also an excellent time to take your passion and convert it into a business, especially through teaching, mentorship, or creating content. Many Aquarians might feel inspired to launch a passion project or explore entrepreneurship in fields that require originality and communication. This is also a period of transformation in your career, especially since the 5th house is the 8th from your 10th house of profession. This can signal unexpected shifts or new directions professionally, possibly drawing you toward work that is more creative, children-related, educational, or speculative in nature. You may feel an inner nudge to move away from conventional paths and instead explore something more self-directed or heart-centered. This isn't just about change for the sake of it. Jupiter ensures that whatever shifts occur, they are overall guiding you toward greater purpose and alignment. Romance and matters of the heart will also be prominent under this transit. If you're single, there is a strong possibility of meeting someone who shares your values and vision, especially through educational or spiritual settings. For those already in a relationship, this transit fosters deeper understanding, joy, and possibly the desire to expand the family. Jupiter, being the natural significator of children, supports conception and childbirth, provided the dasha periods also aligns. For those with children already, this is a phase where you may invest more time, energy, and resources in their education or growth. Financially, this period offers a mix of promise and caution. The 5th house is linked to speculative gains, and with Jupiter's expansive nature, you may feel inclined to invest in the stock market, cryptocurrency, or creative ventures. While opportunities may look exciting, it is important to make decisions based on thorough research. The reason for caution is Jupiter's simultaneous influence over your 2nd and 11th houses, your wealth and income streams. Gains are likely, especially through your network and creative endeavors, but ethical decision-making and integrity will be key. Avoid shortcuts or overconfidence, as Jupiter in the 5th can inflate ego and lead to misjudgments if not balanced with humility. Jupiter's 5th aspect falls on your 9th house, another house it naturally rules, which governs higher wisdom, long-distance travel, and spiritual beliefs. This aspect adds a deeper philosophical dimension to this transit. You may find yourself seeking teachers, mentors, or even traveling to sacred destinations that provide spiritual clarity. Studying ancient wisdom, religious scriptures, or alternative healing modalities may suddenly seem not just interesting but essential to your growth. This is an excellent time to redefine your belief systems and align your life more closely with your core values. With Jupiter also casting its 7th aspect on your 11th house of social networks, friendships, and long-term goals, this is a fertile period for collaborations. Your social circle may expand, bringing in individuals who share your vision and can support your growth. You may find yourself becoming more active in community organizations, group learning environments, or online platforms that facilitate knowledge sharing. This is also an excellent period for receiving gains through audience-based work or group projects, especially those that involve education, creativity, or spirituality. Jupiter's ninth special aspect on your ascendant enhances your overall sense of well-being, purpose, and identity. You may feel more confident, optimistic, and guided during this period. This is a time when others may look up to you for wisdom and guidance, and your natural ability to inspire may be heightened. However, with this influence also comes the temptation of ego. Jupiter in the 5th can create a sense of know-it-all, which if unchecked, could lead to arrogance or overextension. It's important to remain grounded, practice humility, and stay aligned with truth and ethics. Because both your 11th and 2nd lords are involved in this transit, this is undeniably a time where your desires, ambitions, and wealth-generating capacities come under the spotlight. The way forward is through creativity, authenticity, and aligning your external work with your inner calling. Whether through starting your own venture, teaching, writing, or spiritual consulting, opportunities to build something meaningful will be abundant. Overall, Jupiter's transit through Gemini is activating your Dharma Trikona, 1st, 5th, and 9th houses, bringing in opportunity for self-actualization, intellectual expansion, and alignment with higher truths. As long as you navigate this period with ethics, self-awareness, and a willingness to grow beyond your comfort zone, it can be a truly transformative chapter. Focus on long-term learning, build meaningful connections, and stay open to inspiration. This is your time to learn, lead, and create a legacy that reflects both your genius and your heart. For Pisces, the upcoming Jupiter transit into Gemini marks a significant inner shift that will be felt deeply on emotional, personal, and professional levels. As the ruler of both your 1st house of self and the 10th house of career and public life, Jupiter plays a pivotal role in shaping your identity, purpose, and life direction. Its movement into the 4th house of home, emotional security, roots, and mother will turn your focus inward. You may begin to prioritize peace of mind over public achievements and seek emotional grounding as a way to stabilize the many changes happening in your life. The 4th house represents home, family, mother, inner contentment, and all the emotional and physical foundations of your life. With Jupiter transiting here, your desire to cultivate comfort, security, and emotional balance will grow. Many Pisceans could find themselves more inclined to spend time at home, or even shift to working from home. You may also discover an emerging interest in home-based businesses, especially those related to education, finance, or counseling, given Jupiter's natural affiliation with knowledge and support. Property-related matters could see major positive developments. This transit often indicates the purchase or renovation of property, relocation to a more peaceful or spacious home, or investing in real estate for long-term gains. For some, this could even mean returning to their homeland or buying property near their roots. If you're abroad, you may feel drawn to reconnect with your birthplace or childhood memories. This reconnection could be deeply healing. There is a strong emphasis on your mother or maternal figures during this time. You may develop a stronger emotional bond with her or feel called to take care of her health and well-being. If there have been conflicts in the past, this is a good period for reconciliation. Support and wisdom from maternal figures can prove especially helpful now, guiding you through important life decisions. Jupiter in the 4th also enriches your inner world. As a deeply spiritual and philosophical planet, Jupiter's placement here enhances your interest in subjects that bring inner peace and understanding. You may feel a pull toward learning something that aligns with your inner values or spiritual goals. Since Jupiter aspects the 8th, 10th, and 12th houses from this position, these themes will become increasingly important. The 5th aspect on the 8th house may push you into exploring esoteric knowledge or metaphysical subjects. Hidden talents could surface, and your interest in astrology, psychology, or healing modalities may deepen. On a psychological level, this aspect may also trigger a transformation in how you see your fears, past traumas, and the hidden emotional layers of your personality. Deep introspection can help you come out of difficult patterns and move towards personal empowerment. The 7th aspect on your 10th house of career is highly potent. Career changes may take place, especially ones that align with your emotional needs or desire for a better work-life balance. You may take a step back from the hustle of corporate life to focus on more meaningful or flexible pursuits. For those seeking promotions, leadership roles, or new professional directions, this aspect brings blessings. Jupiter's 9th aspect on your 12th house connects you to foreign lands, spirituality, and solitude. You might travel for spiritual purposes or seek isolation for healing and renewal. This is an excellent time for overseas connections, whether personal or professional. Opportunities that involve other cultures, charitable work, or spiritual organizations may suddenly open up. You may feel called to serve, donate, or even spend time in spiritual retreats. With 4th, 8th, and 12th houses activated, your emotional and spiritual evolution becomes a priority. Your mantra becomes one of peace, simplicity, and authenticity. Rather than chasing external validation or expanding your social circle, you may prefer nurturing a few close bonds. You'll develop the clarity to see through superficial connections and focus on what truly nourishes your soul. Saturn's concurrent transit into your ascendant Pisces is another layer to this deeply transformative period. Saturn will demand accountability, maturity, and structure. It signals a karmic reset, particularly with how you manage your time, your energy, and your commitments. Saturn in the 1st house compels you to grow up emotionally and spiritually. Saturn's aspects on your 7th and 10th houses will bring serious focus to relationships and career. You might face challenges in these areas, especially if you've been avoiding necessary changes. Relationships that lack sincerity or depth may fade away, while more committed, meaningful ones can strengthen. Professionally, hard work will be essential. Recognition won't come easy, but it will be long-lasting if earned. Jupiter's influence will help soften Saturn's strict tone, bringing wisdom and optimism to what might otherwise feel like a difficult time. However, one must guard against over-optimism, especially in financial matters. The 8th house activation could bring deceptive opportunities or hidden complications, especially in speculative investments or risky ventures. Always do your due diligence before committing to new investments. Communication will be a key area of development as well. Conflicts in relationships may arise from miscommunication, so it's essential to listen carefully, express yourself clearly, and avoid assumptions. Keeping your mental space clean is important. Decluttering your physical home can actually help create emotional clarity. Weekly home cleaning rituals or organizing your workspace could do wonders in centering your mind. Jupiter is now closely connected to your emotional well-being, and your home becomes your sanctuary. You may also be drawn to bringing more knowledge and inspiration into your living space. Creating an intentional home environment will support your healing journey. This transit offers not just material rewards, but a profound invitation to redefine your foundation. It is about rediscovering your roots, nurturing your emotional ecosystem, and building a life that feels both safe and meaningful. If you've been disconnected from your purpose or have felt emotionally scattered in recent years, Jupiter's journey through your 4th house can realign you. Overall, it offers you a chance to come home, not just to a place, but to yourself. As we conclude this episode, please remember that these insights are based on sidereal or Vedic astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference from the tropical zodiac. Individual predictions may vary, as every birth chart is unique. The influence of dasha periods and natal planetary placements can shape transits differently, both positively and negatively. It's essential to consider your own birth chart when applying these general predictions to your personal circumstances. If you'd like personalized predictions or have questions about your astrological chart, feel free to reach out to us. Stay tuned for more astrological updates. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful astrology content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to sharing more astrological wisdom with you in the future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shining bright.